Hello students, how are you doing? Espero que todos estén bien. This is a review for the conditional tense. I just want to make sure you got it right so we can continue with the more complicated things that we've been studying lately. Okay, this is an overview of the conditional tense. I will send you this copy through email later, okay? But look at this. What would you do if? ¿Qué harías si tú blah blah blah? This part of the would you do, is translated in Spanish harías. How do you do the harías part? The would part, would you do part, you need to remember your irregular roots. Irregular roots for conditional tense. We will recycle them for other tenses too. These are the irregular roots of these verbs. Decir, dir, hacer, har, poner, pondre, poder, pondre, querer, quer, saber, sabre, salir, saldre, tener, tendre, and venir, vendre. The other verbs, you only use the infinitives, are, er, ir ending, complete. The complete infinitive. You don't take out anything, okay? Like comer. And then you will only add the ending to these roots. So the would part, we will use the irregular roots and the full infinitives plus the endings ia for yo, ias for tú, ia for él, ella, and eso or it. Íamos for nosotros, iais for vosotros, and iam for them or they. That is the conditional form. The conditional is it's the equivalent to would, but this is how you make that into Spanish or in Spanish. We use the irregular roots of these verbs, the full infinitives plus the endings ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, ian, and then you have the conditional sentence. This conditional would tense or would conjugation with ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, ian, it has several uses. One of the most important uses is that we use it in if sentences. See, when we are talking hypothetically about something that it's unlikely to happen, but we still can talk about it, right? So this is an hypothetical question. What would you do if we still don't have the if part? We need to complete this idea, but like in Spanish, ¿qué harías si tú blah blah blah? That part we will study right in the next minute. Let's continue. So the conditional tense is used for if sentences, to soften requests. Oh, I missed a T over there. Hold on, I'm gonna write it down. Requests. Okay, now it's better. To soften a request and being very polite. That means that you're being very, very polite. Like, ¿podrías ayudarme? Could you help me? That podr comes from these irregulars. See? Poder, podr. Okay, so we need to be careful with irregular roots. Podrías, then podru, and the ias, because what? Because ias is for tú, right? It's not yo, it's not nosotros, it's the ending for tú. So, could you, podrías ayudarme? This is how you ask something in a very, very polite, nice way. ¿Querrías venir a cenar mañana? It's a very nice way to invite somebody. Would you come to have dinner tomorrow? Would you come? So you're also like giving the chance to the other person to say no without guilt when we use this, because it's very polite. They are giving you room to say no. Most people, since it's really nice, won't say no, but you still have room for it. The third use of this conditional tense is to speculate about actions and conditions and events that took place in the past about something that we don't know for sure. It's an educated guess. ¿Qué clima haría en Alameda ayer? Estaría a 30 grados centígrados. Maybe I'm not in Alameda. Right now, I am in Mexico, but I've been living in Alameda 28 years, and I know that by October, we are still getting high temperatures. So I will say, ¿qué clima haría? They will ask me. Estaría a 30 grados centígrados. And it's very likely that I am right, because it's an educated guess. I know. Okay, so the first use of the conditional is to make if sentences. And how you make if sentences? Si sentences. Okay, first you will write down the would part, the conditional part. So this would part is the conditional. Let me write down here. Conditional. The conditional part. And then the if part. Okay, how we make the if part? We will write down the if part. Iríamos a Santiago. We would go to Santiago. That's the conditional. And then the if part is si tuviéramos el dinero. If we had the money. If we had the money. How do you translate if we had the money? We say tuviéramos, but where this tuviéramos came out from? Well, it's a special conjunction that you use with if sentences that is called past subjunctive conjugation. And this past subjunctive conjugation is on page 440. So, we can use the if sentences when we are dreaming about something that is unlikely to happen. When we are dreaming, maybe we have a 10% chance that it happens, but probably not. So how do you do that? You conjugate the ellos and in preterite to extract a new root, remember? The past subjunctive goes with the part that is the if. Si and past subjunctive. Si and past subjunctive. Okay? So that part, you conjugate the ellos and preterite and then extract a new root. Ellos comieron. This is just a reminder. I think you remember this. Ellos comieron. So you delete the R-O-N endings. Ending. And then comie, it's the new root. Comie is the new root. So, comie, I can conjugate with the corresponding endings for the past subjunctive. Which are the endings for the past subjunctive? Ra, ras, ramos, rais, ran. And this accent mark here means that whatever or whichever is the vowel that becomes with nosotros has an acento there. Okay, so you put an acento in nosotros. Ra, ras, ramos, rais, ras. So in the previous vowel, how you will know? Because for instance, yo digo yo comiera because it's ra, because it's for yo. But if it were for nosotros, comiéramos. So the E will be accentuated. Comiéramos. So these ra, ras, ramos, rais endings are the endings of the past subjunctive. The past subjunctive is the part conjugated for the si, second part of this compound sentence that we make with the conditional to make a full if conditional sentence or conditional if sentence, because you can reverse those parts. And we will see some examples right now. Okay? Once you know how to conjugate in past subjunctive, deleting the ROM from ellos conjugation in preterite. Once you do that and conjugate according to the subject, yo, tú, él, nosotros, ustedes, ellos, that you want, now you can put both parts together. See, it's like You are putting parts of a Lego. First, you put the conditional part with all your verbs conjugated, as you know. Then you take care of the if part or past subjunctive part with C. And then you put them together. Comería caviar. Caviar is the fish eggs that are very expensive and come from Russia. They're very expensive, some of them. You say, I would eat caviar, comería caviar if I had the money. Si tuviéramos dinero. And remember the éramos, so nosotros. That vowel needs acento, ¿sí? Compraríamos un avión si fuéramos ricos. Of course, the past subjunctive also has their irregulars. And that part is pending, but I think I taught you that. I will double check, okay? But make sure you also know the conjugation, because if we say ellos fueron, ¿sí? Fueron, then fuer, it's the root. This will be our root, fue. Right? Fuer, I'm sorry, it's he. Fue, it's the root. And the éramos part, éramos, that is the past subjunctive ending. Fuéramos. Fuéramos. And what we said about the accent. Fue. Ajá. Con el acento. Si fuéramos ricos. ¿Sí? And the third one. Sería feliz. I would be happy. I would be happy if Luis se casara conmigo. Married me. Okay? And remember the casarse. All the rules apply ever. Casarse, it's a reflexive and a reciprocal. So we put the se. Él se casara with me, conmigo. So first you put the would part. You put a comma. It will help you to visualize. And it's correct for grammar. Si, if part, tuviéramos, past subjunctive, and complement. Or you can reverse it. You can say, si fuéramos ricos, we compraríamos un avión. So you can use this part backwards. But the important part is not if you start with the conditional or you end with the past subjunctive sentence or vice versa. The thing is that you conjugate well the would part and the past subjunctive that has the ellos root. So what is important in this question? Well, the important thing is that you conjugate completely and very well your past or preterite sentences, preterite verbs. You need to go back to preterite, stem changing verbs, and irregulars, and make sure that you know how to conjugate in preterite all your verbs again. So you need to look back into your first lessons and remember how to conjugate. So every time you conjugate ellos in preterite, you extract the correct root. And this is what you have to memorize. If sentences, would part and past subjunctive, would part and past subjunctive. Okay, I remind you, the past subjunctive is on page 440 of your books, okay? And this is gonna be your homework. You've done this before, so I don't think this will be hard for you. Please repeat the activity A that it's on page 441. So you rewrite everything. If you don't understand a word, you look it up. And activity B on page 442, 442. And then send them to me. And you can also please write 10 sentences. 10 sentences that you make up, like my 3 ones here, 1, 2, 3 that I gave you as examples. You write down 10 sentences with the if part and the conditional together, using all the grammar that we just repeated and reviewed today. This topic is not an easy one, but repetition helps a lot to to the brain to remember things and connect the dots. So if you want, you can repeat this video 2 or 3 times and you'll see that you will get it. The only thing is that you also need to practice a lot how to conjugate with would and how to conjugate past subjunctive with ellos in preterite. Okay, so don't forget, you need to memorize conditional would, past subjunctive, ellos preterite. So you figure out how to memorize that part. So when you put these conditional sentences together, you do a good job. There are other if sentences that don't use the conditional, but there are other contexts and we will see them later. So if you see an if with other tense, don't worry. I just don't want to give you that information right now because I don't want to confuse you. And actually it's easier than this one. I'll see you next week. Don't worry, keep on studying with the other videos. Keep on sending me your trials of exercises and I'll keep on reviewing them, and we will be reviewing from here on, so I make sure that you got all the dots connected. Take care. Estén muy bien. Cuídense. Lávense las manos y manden tarea. Bye.